Okay, guys, buckle up. I have an end times update. This is so funny that this came in. So recently, I watched a video that was not published on social media. It was published privately on a website because it contained, it was basically it was insight. It was like deep, covert insight into the global elite, if you want to call it that, or the shadow governments, or whatever name you want to give all of that. Those people who have been in control, who are absolutely losing control. And after watching that video, I wanted to bring forward something. And having come out of Christianity, which is a whole other story, I really wanted to touch upon that concept of the end times. And my title is You Don't Bring a Handgun to a Spiritual War. And so many people believe that we are in what the Bible calls the end times. There's a lot of eschatology out there that believes that the world's going to hell, that it's burning, that it's self-destructing, and that good little Christians should just hold on to their hats and wait to be rescued by Jesus. This is real eschatology, end times theology that many people hold. And I don't mean to sound mocking of that. But, and with the current state of things, from the pandemic, cough, plandemic, to global climate crises, to the unprecedented poisoning of our food, chemtrails in the air, metals in our water, all the various wars and conflicts around the globe, and even increasing evidence that we're not alone in the universe. Shit's getting pretty crazy out there. But what's really going on? Make no mistake, we are at war. But what is the war exactly? What's the agenda? And what are our weapons of war? These were the questions that came forward after I watched this video of these plans, what the strategies are of the dark forces, if you want to use that term. So let's break this down to the most basic concepts possible. Everyone is familiar with the concept of good and evil. Let's say this: no matter what face you choose to give the concept of the divine, God, source, universal intelligence, design, whatever, no matter what your belief system, or even if you don't believe or think you don't believe, your belief will not opt you out of malevolent forces who seek to dominate and control your attention, which is your creation power. Let me say that again. The war is over your power, your creative power, which is your attention, your awareness, and your self-knowing. There are life forces that are benevolent. Some people call this God. Angels, goodness, creator, creatrix, guides, ascended masters, beings of light, agents of divine will, the I am or the higher self. All of these are relevant and have their place as long as you understand fundamentally that everything is connected. All of life is really just one humongous organism operated by one source consciousness that has created billions upon billions of individualized fractals of itself. And there are forces of separation that are malevolent. Some people call this the devil, Satan, evil, demons, agents of chaos, agents of destruction, beings of darkness, agents of self or the self-ego. Again, all of these are relevant and have their place. But here's the caveat. We are made of both. We are beings of duality. The very definition of duality relates to space and time. We are consciousness. We start off as consciousness, and we are born into form through space and time. We're a design of both. And so we must become masters of understanding both and how they operate in our lives in order to evolve into higher states of being and to win the game, if you want to look at it from that perspective, or overcome the darkness. So the agenda of the benevolent forces, the good forces, the supportive forces, is to support the empowered evolutionary process of humanity and all beings, to support but not interfere in order to allow humanity to return back to a state of prosperity, autonomy, and sovereignty as a species, and to reestablish us, as active members of our galactic community. And the highest of these forces are always in service to divine will as the perfect unfolding plan for all creation. The agenda of the malevolent or dark forces is to control you, more specifically, to control your awareness. Because your focus is the source of your power, where you give your attention, you direct life force energy to create. Beings, energies, and entities that have chosen separation from source as an evolutionary path of exploration have simply forgotten their own connection to source, kind of like opting out. Therefore, they no longer have access to the regenerative life force in order to exist. So they feed off of the lower vibrational energies of humanity and other species to survive. They are agents of separation, promoting further separation for their own gain, because Separation from source breeds fear, terror, apathy, greed, control, manipulation, hopelessness, purposelessness, etc. And if they can keep you in those lower states of emotion, then they can feed off of you. It's as simple as that. That's the agenda. The weapons of this war are fear, love, and frequency. The basis for all life is sound and light. Quantum physics shows us that the atom is mostly empty space, which is basically the quantum field that holds source consciousness. And form is only a tiny speck in the equation. All of form is directed by the transmission of frequency. The concept of frequency is not a New Age concept. It is the forefront of emerging science. To disregard the universal laws and principles for life out of ignorance or religious loyalty will not exempt you from their effects. Gravity still affects you whether you believe in it or not. Food for thought. Lower frequencies. Here's the scoop on the lower frequencies, guys. And I am now speaking to the New Age community who falsely believes that you can only be in the high vibe. It's only half of the teaching. It's not an integrated teaching. The belief that you need to get into the high vibe and stay into the high vibe. Here's the skinny. Lower frequencies are the building blocks of higher frequencies. Because we are created beings placed within the constructs of time and space, which is dualistic in nature, and we're given an evolutionary arc of experience to move through. That's called our soul blueprint. Every soul begins its journey in lower frequencies, period. It's not bad, it's not good, it's not evil, it's not demonic. It is the structure of evolution. This is so important to understand, because if we understand that it is a part of the original design, if we understand that the highest states of being cannot exist without the lower foundation, then we are trapped in aspects of religious dogma that have kept us entangled with these lower frequencies for ages. If you bring a knife to a gunfight, you're toast. It's the wrong weapon for that opponent. And what you have to understand about this war is that it is a spiritual war. It is not a physical war. Furthermore, what you have to understand about this war is that the real war is within you. The war outside of you reflects the one inside of you. Remember those agents of separation? They use every trick up their sleeve to keep you confused, sick, angry, disempowered, and despondent in your evolutionary journey of self-mastery. And this journey of self-mastery is not about you becoming anything you are not already. That's the biggest lie. It's about you remembering, which is literally means you remember yourself, putting your members back together, collecting all aspects of yourself that were fractured, denied, pushed away, cursed, laughed at, ridiculed, abandoned, in order for you to survive life. Claiming those and putting yourself back together to achieve wholeness. Your level of wholeness within you is the key to your power to create outside of you that which you are inside. You were designed to create and attract every resource, every person, every synchronicity, and every blessing and lesson you need to succeed in your given will and authority to create, which is literally what births what we call heaven on earth. Let's let that sink in. Remember, you are made of both light and darkness. Darkness represents the unconscious. Lightness represents what is conscious, what is known. The unknown is represented through the archetype of darkness. What is known is represented through the archetype of light. Separation is in service to divine will without knowing it is. That's the cosmic joke. We are light. Our souls were birthed from the one dark womb and one source light of Divine Mother, Divine Father. We were birthed first as a consciousness. We were an idea. Then the spark of divine consciousness that we are, which is sometimes called the Holy Spirit, the higher self, the oversoul. This aspect of self is what manifests us into form. This aspect of us is one with the one dark womb and the one source light of Divine Mother, Divine Father. There is no separation. But the game, the evolutionary path of form, requires shadow/separation in order for us to have experiences where we can grow and evolve. The real key to winning this war is detachment. Detachment sounds cold, unloving, unconcerned for others, or even maybe the self. But detachment is a gift frequency that empowers us to shift from lower frequencies into higher ones. When we are resonating at higher frequencies, we are self-resourced, with all of the love, belonging, purpose, support, care, compassion, and aligned action we need to co-create anything we need to serve our highest purpose and to serve in our higher purpose. When we fall or slip into lower frequencies, then we feel temporarily separate from these necessary resources. And typically, the worst aspects of our nature emerge as a visceral reaction to what we're experiencing. Detachment is available to us when we balance in our self-love and care. When we are balanced in our self-love and care with the love and care of others. When we consider self and other both in the equation, it is impossible for abuse to exist. And it's important to know that in our journey of growth, there can be seasons where we may lean more towards one or another for the purpose of our learning. But any time spent in one extreme or another is simply to teach us what is necessary for us to return back to that state of balance. All separation, all domination energy, control energy, rape energy, annihilation energy, destruction energy, all lustful energies, greed, all of those energies are simply what is created when we have spent too much time in one orientation or another. Either we're focused too much on self or we're focused too much on other. When we're focused too much on self, we become the abuser. When we're focused too much on other, we become the victim. We are both victims and perpetrators. All right, back to the outer war. What is going on out there? Let's be clear. There absolutely are maleficent forces, dark forces, both in form and not in form, who are running factions of shadow governments all over the planet. Elite forces who are seeped in separation, whose lust for greed, power, money, resources, control, and self-expression without the balance of considering others are growing exponentially. There is intentional warfare happening against humanity. We are seeing all the effects, which I will not go into publicly. But basically, most of the conspiracy theories are real life. That's for you to dive into according to your own sovereignty. The strategy of separation, by creating either real or perceived global or local crises, inciting fear, terror, apathy, greed, control, manipulation, blame, hopelessness, purposelessness, the wearing down of the body through altered foods, toxic overloads of chemicals, social media dog and pony shows of distractions about which celebrity is doing what, or how she looks, or how he acts, or what he did, distractions even about stirring up your anger against all the ways you feel victimized, and rightly so, by everything humanity is having to fucking go through right now. It's a lot. Distractions about which political party is going to save us from all the bad people, right? Can't you just feel the disunity in all of this? And that is the point. I want to be clear. Every single person is both the perpetrator and the victim. How so? Because the true power lies within us. It always has. We have always had the power to rise above any plots or plans from any external force. But we signed up for, at least at the soul level, our human may not remember this, but we signed up to experience separation in order to expand our own knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Sounds crazy now that we're on the ground, waist deep in all this shit, but that's the reality. No one has the power to victimize you when you know, claim, and rise up in your own sovereign power. And states of victimization are stages of life. They are a stage in the evolution process, and sometimes a whole lifetime we're in it to show us, teach us what is required to return to love again and again and again and again. You are here to be initiated into your own self-love and self-care, to stop abandoning yourself, to stop punishing yourself, to stop gaslighting yourself, to stop refusing to give yourself love, care, compassion, understanding. You are here to reclaim all aspects of yourself, both the light and the dark, and to unite them within you. This is your power and your birthright. The battleground is the mind, and in reclaiming and reintegrating the full emotional spectrum. The old ways of fighting in this war was perceived to be through direct engagement, which produces an us and them paradigm. They win when you point your finger outside of you at another being and blame them for the quality of your experience. It's not either or, it's and. You cannot control what happens to you, but you are fully in control of how you receive, interpret, and respond to what happens to you. That is what dictates the quality of your life. Yes, there are dark forces, there's really evil shit going on, and you're a sovereign, Christed being with the power to birth your heaven on earth solutions to every problem that exists. You must reclaim yourself, first by coming into right relationship with your mind and your emotions. That's a whole teaching unto itself that I'm not going to go into much now. All of the thoughts that come to you are not yours. All of the emotions that come to you aren't yours. Different people have different levels of sensitivity. Any place you are giving your power away will be evidenced in your self-thoughts and in your emotions. Your emotions are actually an incredibly powerful aspect of your spiritual technology, which is meant to help be your guide, not responsible for the quality of your life. It is one way of knowing how aligned you are with your own inner divine guidance coming from your higher self / Holy Spirit. All of this is to say this. All of these external threats, wars and rumors of wars, viruses, supposed terrorist activities, UFOs, UAD activity, whether real or government related, perceived political threats, etc. All of these are the desperate attempts of those who have held power in the past but are losing power. They're not regaining power. There's no way for them to regain power. Humanity has already chosen. And these attempts are pitiful attempts to slow down humanity's awakening process, which is underway. It cannot be stopped. There's no going back. Every system that is built on a faulty foundation must crumble. This is why we are feeling so much chaos and unsettled energy right now. Cut yourself some slack. Everything that we have felt has been true, has been a foundation for life, is proving to be false or incomplete or not the whole picture or completely debunked. It is monumentally important that we meet, greet, feel, accept, and transmute every emotion that comes to us without judgment. We don't have to own it. We don't have to claim it as our own. We don't have to define it. We don't have to dig up the dirt. We don't have to dumpster dive. We don't have to figure out the source. If you don't know how to do that, reach out to me. I can help. But you cannot bypass, ignore, judge, or repress aspects of yourself and be whole. This is the root of your suffering, a separated self. Not anything that is going on outside of you. When you get that aligned, things will shift rapidly for you. I know this from my own personal experience. This is why I teach about spiritual alchemy. And when I use the term spiritual, I really mean it's the whole self. It's addressing the transmutation process on all levels of your being. So whether you believe in frequency or you say that's a new age thing or it's a fad or it's whatever, it's the foundation for life. Your frequency is your vote. Let me clarify. Feeling fear or any negative emotion temporarily and facing that is not a vote for separation, for evil, for darkness. But being activated in it and staying stuck in it is. The way you vote for love is by returning to love through wholeness of self. Becoming love is somewhat of a true statement, but it's only becoming in the sense that you are a being in form on an evolutionary journey. But you are already everything you've ever wanted to be. You already are everything you've ever wanted to have. You just don't remember, which is kind of the point of having a life experience. But it is the time and the space in our evolution for us to remember now. Now is the selected time and season for humanity to wake up from the dream, to remove the veil between physical and spiritual, which has really never been separate. It's impossible for it to be separate. We've only had the perception of that separation. It's time to remember our self-mastery from many lifetimes. It's time to remember and feel again the truth of our connection to life, to source, to love. It is so appropriate that you feel rage and anger and grief and sadness and all the feels around what is happening to you and to humanity right now. So fucking appropriate. Feel it all. But you must master yourself by returning to a state of neutrality. At the least, at the best, a state of love, self-empowerment, self-compassion, self-support. And that is a process of self-mastery that takes years and lifetimes to do. But many of us have been doing this for lifetimes. And this is our time to fully step into our soul's mastery. When we engage in the us versus them energy, whatever it is, we become entangled with these lower energies and pull them back into ourselves and into our creation process unknowingly. By all means, if your soul path involves speaking out publicly against wrong things or any type of advocacy or philanthropy, then by all means, follow your own higher guidance. But know that you are not literally fighting against any person, group, entity, corporation, government, religion, etc. The fight is internal. And where you are triggered is the clue that life is giving you, showing you where your separation still exists. And like a good mother and father, you must pursue that part of yourself that is separate, like a wounded child, and reclaim them, love them, nurture them, care for them, provide for them until they are returned to a state of wholeness and healing. There is no separation energy or agenda externally that has the power to inform you internally unless you allow it. You choose your internal reality. You are your own thermostat. So many of us are walking around like a bunch of thermometers, picking up the temperatures of the energies and not understanding most of that is not even us. Guard your awareness. Guard your energy. Guard your focus. Choose what you listen to, what you watch. Choose carefully. Invest in yourself. Know yourself. Know what you need, what you desire, what your purpose is. Ask for help in providing for your needs. Sometimes this is from people, but mostly this is better directed towards all the benevolent beings and guides that are always around us, just waiting to assist. The way you beat the elite is by becoming elite. Not their version, but your own version of elite. Your self-mastery, your self-knowing. Do your shadow work. Find that therapist. Hire that coach. Invest in that quality food. There's always a way. The path from lack to abundance is paved with 1,000 tiny steps of realizing that it's just an energy being broadcast to you that says you don't have enough power to create or attract what you need. And your mastery is reclaiming your power by taking each step forward in the remembrance that you are already all of it. Nothing has been withheld from you. Life is always supporting you. Everything that comes to you, whether it's preferred or not, is fully supporting your growth and transformation. Sometimes these are really positive things and synchronicities. And sometimes these feel like punches to the gut that knock the wind out of you. You have to learn to surf the waves of it all and come back on top, come back on top, come back on top. That's the mastery. There are so many positive things happening behind the scenes to support humanity, to help us with all of the dark shit that's being put on us right now. You wouldn't believe it if I told you. A few things that I can share is that we have cheat codes in our literal DNA. Divine empowerment lives within us, literally and metaphorically. Light codes coming to the earth are supporting us to turn back on dormant strands of DNA within us. This is our true birthright. You don't have to understand or even believe me. Just take hold of whatever level of hope for something good, some level of support that you are willing to receive from this transmission. Take it and transform yourself. Do the work. Overcome your obstacles. Ask for and allow yourself to receive help from the spirit realm and from other humans. Just know that it's not anyone else's responsibility to provide or care for you outside of being a child. It's time to grow up. Be sovereign. Be in your own empowerment. I'll be sharing more soon on how to shift from victimization into sovereignty. Namaste, my friends.